Ah, it worked this time.
All right, welcome everybody to the Australian Numismatic Society's meeting 1224.
Steve.
Stephen, welcome.
Yes, thank you.
It's not as good as a turnout as what we would like.
I saw the litany of apologies, so that's quite understandable. I'm used to it happening at the Queensland clubs all the time lately, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you probably get a few more than this.
yeah, but the mix of cold weather and rain, I think, is sort of, you know, if I wasn't at work, I wouldn't have been here either, probably. Because, yeah, the idea of staying home with a nice warm fire would be a lot better. But anyway.
I've heard of these fireplace things. We don't have them in Queensland.
You know, don't you know what they are?
There's 2 houses in my street that have them.
Apologies.
Okay. We have apologies from David Mee, Matthew Lloyd, Tony Hall, Lindy Hall, Colin Pitchfork, Graham Howard, Barry Towers, Les Carwell, Bruce Short, Robert Tonner, Ron Bolden, Joe Detling, Murray Brad and John Minicus. Is there any other?
Jim Noble and Chanel that.
Sorry? Were you on that list?
No.
No?
I said Jim Noble and Chanel that.
Oh, Jim and Chanel.
Jim Noble, okay. I was expecting Morris to be here, but unusual not to see Morris at our meeting.
Yeah.
George will turn up any minute.
Yeah,
George will probably show up, yeah.
I mean George, he's keen.
Oh,
He comes from Gosford. Takes him an hour on the train to get here, and our meeting's very short time, and then it's going to take him an hour or so to get home. And he's in his 80s and he's pretty doddery. And I was thinking, God, he's keen.
And he's deaf as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he walks around with his machine. So I suppose that sort of doesn't help much if you sort of. But then he knows which train to catch, doesn't he?
Oh yeah. I mean
he's been doing it for a while.
he knows how to get here and everything,
So,
and he always has stuff to show, which is nice.
yeah.
I tried to catch the train to an A&S meeting once, but back when you were in the Powerhouse Museum, I'd figured out which exit to get out of Central Station. I took the wrong one, ended up far side of town, had to walk all the way around.
Yeah. That's right. Oh, as Rod probably pointed out, this may be a quick meeting.
Yep.
But anyway, next month is our Sydney conference. 13th of June at Phyllis House, starting at 10 a.m. So 13th of June is a Monday.
Yes.
Right.
It's the Queen's birthday
Queen's
holiday
birthday
Monday.
Weekend, Monday, yeah, not Saturday or Sunday, just Monday.
Yeah.
We're going to have our Sydney conference.
Yeah. It's our normal meeting day, so we'd normally have a meeting that day, but every second year we're in Coffs Harbour, so we don't have the meeting. And then every other second year we used to say, oh, hey, it's the birthday and we just won't have a meeting there. But this time we said, because we've missed so many meetings, let's try a conference style, because there's nobody else, you know, in this building, that we can have it all to ourselves, car park and everything else,
Yeah.
and see what
happens.
what gives.
Yeah, so as Rod said, it would normally be the second Monday, which is normally our meeting night, except we're going to start at 10 a.m.
yeah.
not 8 p.m.
And it's a
Yes.
good idea to see how many other, if it's a daytime meeting, how many other members would turn up. And
That's true.
if you look at the speakers on there, like Colin Pitchfork is giving a speech, Bruce Short is giving a speech, and you giving a speech? Yes, you are. I remember you're giving a speech, and David Mee is, and there's a couple more, but there's still spot for talks. Matthew said he'd give one on the portraits of Queen Elizabeth, so
Yeah,
that's good.
really nice. Yeah.
I was considering giving one on the banknotes of Queen Elizabeth. You know, starting at the
Pre-decimal.
yeah, on the 10 shillings and pounds, £5 and £10, and talking about how they. I mean, if you collect banknotes, you go by signature combinations, and the Coombs-Wilson signature combination actually started in the reign of George VI and her dad, and it was on the 10 shillings, pound, £5, £10, and then when he popped off in 52, it transferred, but it continued on until we got to decimal currency. So you know, you're sort of thinking, hang on, their signature combination went from 52 to 66, which is quite a long time for, you know, and between those signatures, Nugget Coombs was, or H.C. Coombs was the governor of the Commonwealth Bank to start with, and in 1960 he became governor of the Reserve Bank because the Reserve Bank got started. So it's all sort of history, but fits in very nicely.
That's right. Okay, so that's what we're doing in June, right? We're going to have the Sydney conference. Is there any members from Queensland coming down? No?
John Pern is coming.
Yeah.
John Pern.
He said he was coming, so
Okay.
I'm not aware of any other Queenslanders telling me that they've come down, but I'm not necessarily in the
well,
loop there.
it's open to
I
anybody.
came in at the last meeting, so I wasn't there.
Yeah, because I have been speaking to a chap at the coin fair, and he's extremely interested in coming along. So you know, he's not a member, but you know, I said, well, I'll find.
Everyone's invited. I mean, I'm expecting a few more than tonight, but I'm really not expecting more than about 20 odd people.
Yeah.
But if we get more, we got room for.
And it's going to be in this room, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, okay.
I've moved the camera up a bit because I'm thinking with the conference, how do we shoot it? Now, David Mee was saying that he'd like to go by bringing some coins along, like we normally do when we just, the coin's there, the camera's on it, and you talk about it. Yeah, but you'll be bringing your laptop,
Okay.
so anybody who has PowerPoint and what next can run it off that.
That's right.
Yeah, I think we've got all bases covered.
Okay.
PowerPoint will be available.
Yeah.
You also haven't got to bring your lunch.
Yeah. Yes, the other thing is bring your own lunch. We'll supply morning tea and afternoon tea, and I'll make sure I have extra Madeira cakes and biscuits and things for morning and afternoon tea. But we can't supply lunch. I mean, I think there's a Hungry Jack's up the street, but
Yeah.
it's probably easier just to bring your own.
Yeah,
Make your own sandwich or
You
something,
don't have
drink.
places will be open on the public holiday anyway, so
Yeah.
Well, Hungry Jack's always
Hungry
open,
Jack's
so
probably will be, but anywhere else might not be.
yeah.
All right. We've got the journal here.
Yep.
Which one is that? It's not 2021 book one, is it?
Yeah.
It's book one, 2021.
Well, the last two were called 2020, books 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
So this is 2021 book
Okay.
1. We
Right.
also have a 2021 book 2, and then I asked Judy to, with the next one, to call it 2022, but not book 1. And then the one after we'll call 2023, so
Yeah.
that we've caught up to date.
Okay.
But ideally, if we can put out one of these nice journals every 6 months, it'd be very nice.
Yeah.
And until we had this wonderful editor to do it, that was always the problem, finding the editor.
Yeah. And Judy's very, very enthusiastic.
And she's really good. I mean, if you read the obituaries on these of the members, I'm sort of thinking, wow, I never knew all that information on our members, you know.
Yeah, she does a hell of a lot of research as well.
Yeah, well,
behind the
she's
scenes.
contacted their families and whatnot and got all the information and photographs and things. So she does a wonderful job.
Gee.
So I told her, you know, she's got to stay a member and keep doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
And she was saying she's involved with about 6 other clubs in
Yeah.
in Canada and America that she's the editor for. You know, I mean, they're like us. They say, "You do such a wonderful job. Please stay as the editor."
I wonder if she does all that for the clubs as well.
Well, I don't know if she actually physically goes to all of them, but she's a member of all of them, and a lot of them, especially in America, have Zoom meetings and things. So,
She has some health issues too.
yeah, but she does a really good job. So, yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, we've got the journals there. So before you leave, please take one with you, so it stays on our postage.
Stephen's already got his, and he's got 20 others to take back to Brisbane with him.
I tell you what, I've got my car. If you need freight, you can.
And I've got their labels on it, so you know which one belongs to whom.
Yeah. If for some reason they don't come to meetings, I'll just slap a stamp on and post them from there. That's
Okay.
fine.
Oh,
Okay.
you can tell them to call around and pick it up.
Yeah.
But you go to QNS and
Yeah, yeah. I
And
got a
Redcliffe
few
and everything
there,
as well?
Redcliffe, yeah.
yeah, so between all the clubs, you should see everyone.
Okay. All right. Is there any other general business?
I don't have any other general business.
No? Okay. Right, well, we'll move on to the topic of the night, which is Numismatic Society and club medals.
Just
Also,
one other thing,
any recent
John.
acquisitions.
Frank said he brought in some Japanese coins. So that was last month's topic that he'd like to show us. So,
Well, just, you know, I thought if there's nothing else, if
We
we
can,
need a bit of a fill-in.
we can
I think we have a bit of time.
pass them on to recent acquisitions. Can't
Oh, no, they're not recent acquisitions, but I just thought of all,
we? Yeah,
There was a
yeah,
gap.
That's fine. Yeah, we'll fill out the gap because as Rod said, we're probably going to have a quick meeting.
Should we start with that and then come on to the topic? Go to last month's topic?
most of it is what you have, but there's a couple that I think that you didn't have sort of thing, and a couple I'd like, you might be able to identify.
Oh, good. So we can see something different.
Well, Frank, come on. You can start. You can
Okay.
start the ball rolling.
I should have noted which ones Rod has already done, but like everything else, yeah, I'll do that before I go, but didn't happen, so just pull me up if it's one that you've already come up with.
Japan or Korea? Or both?
Japan. Oh, I've only got a couple of Korea. I think the Japan one, the 10 sen. I don't think you had that one. Which in the monetary system of Japan, 10 rin equals 1 sen, and 100 sen equals 1 yen. And 1 yen, I think, at the moment is worth about, what, 2 cents or something, so
You lost it.
they can imagine what a rin would have been worth, or is worth. Virtually nothing.
We've lost the signal, right?
We've lost the screen.
It'll come back. Come back, screen.
There we go.
Yeah, it's very poor conditions, whether you'll get any... Oh, yeah. But no idea
It's
of
funny why
dates.
they put the hole there. Maybe it's from the other side.
Somebody's had it as a
Ornament.
ornament or something, I'd say, as a guess.
Yeah, but you know, normally you
pretty
put it at the
roughly
top.
made.
So you wouldn't want to put it where the cherry blossom was,
No.
or the chrysanthemum actually, yeah.
So it's been hacked through, sort of thing, I'd say myself. I've got no idea of dates or anything on it.
Right.
No, then I think... Too sure that you would have had the 10 cents, 10 sen, which is 0.8% silver. The ruler at the time was Mitsuhito. He reigned from 1867 to 1912. And the 1 yen, I think, which Rod had was again worth virtually nothing. It's aluminium. Does, I think it does have a year on it, but I think it's the year of the rain rather than the actual calendar
That's
year.
45, that one.
Now this is one of the ones I'm not too sure of whether it is in fact Japanese or not.
That's Taiwan.
Taiwan, okay. Good, yeah. Right, so we'll take that off the Japanese list. And that's a 50 yen, which is copper nickel, which is pretty much the same as our own decimal currency. And the 42 is the year of rain rather than, as I said, the emperor at the time.
Yeah, Hirohito's.
I think 42 was in the 60s.
Makes it confusing.
Now even though this one says it's a yen, but it doesn't have the typical chrysanthemum and what have you, so again I'm not too sure.
Which? Saudi Arabia. Then I changed the, go back to
Anyone got any ideas on that one?
It's Japan.
Mhm.
Other side? Yeah, it's 100 yen.
Yeah, but so many of them have got the chrysanthemum, it's pretty much standard, but that's something else altogether.
Yeah,
The Rising Sun.
32. That's immediate post-war, that one.
Now this one I'm sure again, it's another one that I'm not too sure of.
Yeah, that's Japan.
Yes, Japan. That's a World War II era. 10 cent.
That's about that on there. And then the notes. It's the yen cent. I'm not too sure. This occupation money, so I'm not too sure which country it would have been for when it's yen.
1 cent.
That's in Dutch, so that's from...
So that's Indonesia.
And another one, it just says that the Japanese government is 5 cents, but again, it's not saying which.
That's probably, since it's MT, it's probably Malaya.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cents in English are Malaya. We've lost the light. There we
The uniface, oh no.
And so I presume then from that the half gulden or gulden.
That would be Indonesia again.
SL. So what that would be?
SL.
They tried to keep the same
SL.
currency that it was in.
S was for the Japanese name for Great South. I don't remember. Sainan or something like that.
This is another version of the yen.
Look like genuine Japanese money.
Yeah, but they don't seem they're rather light on with numbering or anything. So I don't know how they. This one does have a number, but. So with the 100 yen.
Hang on, we'll just show the other side as well.
Well, obviously, then we have a 500, but it doesn't look very Japanese. So again, I'm not real sure if that is actually.
He looks like their current Prime Minister, actually.
Doesn't look happy.
Guess if you're a Prime Minister, you're not happy.
Then I've got a whole heap of these ones that are, which are.
Those ones with the English letters, I think, are immediate post-war.
Again, those are 50 yen, and they just have a very simple numbering system. By the look of it, they're all just like a single number. They'd be very easy to copy if you wanted to. I think if you're keen enough.
Well, if a country doesn't put serial numbers on its banknotes, it's basically because it stopped caring about that sort of thing. Either because of hyperinflation or because it's a military occupation thing or something like that. Yeah, they just stopped caring.
Well, that's about it on the Japanese side. And then just a couple of Korean ones. If I can get that in bag open. The Korean monetary here, in North Korea anyhow, 100 chon equals 1 won, or we've got no idea what the actual currency is at the moment, or what its value might be, but that's they make
North?
sure you know it is, because it says on there the Bank of Korea, so they're making sure that you know where that one comes from.
And that one's South Korea.
But that's south, is it, rather than...
Yes, that one is.
67.
Well, maybe this is... that's the North Korean one, is it? The aluminium?
Nope,
The same thing again?
nope, still South.
Still something again?
You can't miss the North Koreans. They got the communist logo all over it.
Okay, so... Now this one I'm not too sure about. It's got a pagoda or whatever it is on the back.
South Korea again.
No, upside down, what's that?
Looks Korean.
Yeah, it's South Korean again.
Yeah. And on the 100 won is copper nickel, and it's part of Admiral Yai Sun Shin. If I could figure of it. And then there's a 10 won note. They like to number them. But again, now it's a pretty small number, so I don't know whether it's early in the print or. And we have a 500 one. That's about all that I've got on Japan and Korea. So I might have filled in a couple of gaps from last month.
Thank you.
Peter, are you going to show these coins?
Yeah, but
I'll show them.
Yeah.
the lineage one, there are wooden ones.
I think we should start off with the presentation medals.
These are Queensland members that are now deceased.
'87, one of the early silver medals to Howard.
Is it all silver or silver plated?
I think they were silver in those days. This is '84 to Terry Davison. I think, I could be wrong, that that's the first bronze medal we we issued. I was telling Peter in the car today, when they decided to make these medals, when was it, the 60s, I think it was, that they produced them? Because the members of the society had been there for so long, that when they issued the initial medals, no one got a bronze medal. They were all saying, hang on, you know, you're deserving of a silver medal. So no one got a bronze medal. And it sort of went on from there that everyone got silver medals or gold medals and no one got bronze medals. And I can remember when I was on the committee at the time when the Queensland asked for a silver medal for John Cook. And John was deserving of a silver medal. But we said, hang on, you should get the bronze medal first. So we went back and said, yeah, but we'd like John to have a bronze medal to start with. And he got the bronze medal. And I think it was about 5 years later that Cookie got the silver medal. And I think Cookie since got the gold medal as well. And I think John Cook is the only person to have the bronze, silver and gold medals as a result. You know, because no one else has a bronze medal. They're rare as anything. Yeah. Yeah, Cole Thomas could have had the 3 too. I'm not sure, but yeah.
I had the bronze medal.
Yeah. The bronze.
Is there a further bronze one? Because Carol's got one and so did Tony Dalton's wife got one.
Yeah, but I think they were issued afterwards.
But I don't think they're that size. I think
No, they got the distinguished. They got the for service medal.
Yeah.
It wasn't the ANS, the man's medal.
Right.
It's the for service to the society medals. Yeah. Okay, we have the other ones. Now, this one. This is the one for the 75th anniversary of the society.
I didn't
That
get the
is-
message of that, because they didn't tell all, but he says
I brought
there are
in Cookie's book.
1,063.
Should tell us in here. Pete?
If it's known, it'll be in there.
You never see the bronze medal. It's because it's a white metal in the card. It's always the white metal version that one sees. 1988. Here it says materials: oxidized silver on copper, bronze, and sterling silver. And you see the oxidized silver on copper, in other words, silver-plated copper, is the common one. But the bronze one is a very uncommon one. It's the hard one.
Does John give a message of it?
No, he's taken it from Les's book. So in the medal here, it said mintage, which would be oxidized silver on copper, which is 1063, bronze not known, and sterling silver 149. So the bronze medal numbers are not known. It is probably one that Amors struck themselves for their own purposes, testing or something like that.
Well, my memory's faded, but I brought this one along, and I just wonder where does that fit into it at all? Is that a society one, or is this one that I've had knocked up? Well, I was running around. I know that.
No, this
you know,
this isn't one.
but
This is the similar
Very simple.
right, now
obverse.
this
If you
would
look
have
at those two,
that would have been one that I got.
you probably used the same dies and had it.
Well, the first striking, really.
Yeah,
This was like a specimen.
but that's what the obverse looks like on that. But that is not. anniversary of Australian
No,
thing.
no, I can't, I'd have to go back through things.
Did you make it for Coin Colony?
I could have, I'm not sure.
But you didn't put your name on it, and you were pretty good at advertising, so.
Oh,
It's probably on the card that
oh,
was
there's a
stuck.
number on it.
Yep. Here's one for the Capricana Festival, the Rockhampton Capricana Festival. But most of the ones that we have are aluminium. They were the aluminium ones. Now, thank you, Cookie, for producing the book.
Miniature 3.
Yep. This is aluminium 550, bronze 3, silver 3. So that one is as rare as the silver one. And this one, Queensland, when they produced the Flinders Medal in '99, they produced quite a few of them, but also they were following in Matthew's Flinders footsteps and did some tours up to some of the points that he went to. And when they did the ones, they put it on the flag. So it's
In the speak.
yeah, the peak. Don't know,
That came from man lads.
99. I don't think John actually said where the destinations were, but so it's Flinders Peak Centenary Ascent.
Bicentenary Ascent.
Yeah, 11th of July 1999. So I believe there were 4 of them, weren't there? There were 4 different inscriptions. Yeah. So
Before my time, sorry.
right. So with the medal itself, the medal is made in pewter, bronze, and silver plate, they said. So there's 220 pewter, 15 silver, and 3 silver plated. Oh no, I've got it wrong. 220 pewter, 15 bronze, and 3 silver, or silver plated. But amongst them, there were a few that were done for these different bicentenary reenactments of what Flinders did at the time. So. And of course, we have that bronze one for Terry Davidson, so very nice. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah, you didn't show the 62 one of the Queensland 40th.
Oh, sorry. Yes. The Queensland 40th anniversary medal.
But there's a miniature 5.
That's one of Bruce's medals.
Yes.
And what year was that? 2002.
Yeah, it's up the top there.
2002. 40th anniversary. Yep. So there were 40 done in copper and 5 in silver. So this is one of 5. Some of the A&S medals are pretty rare items. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
And you,
Ross, you got some?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at your ones.
I grabbed these ones and I didn't look at the book. I should have.
Yes, it helps. You get information when you look at the book.
I
Get the
know,
book
but
first.
I don't know how many of those were done. But that's a Peatford.
Padford.
Bruce Canning, ex-Bruce Canning.
Yep.
And then there's this one, so I'm not sure where they fit into it.
This is one of the conference medals.
Is it?
ANS 2020 Conference Medal. And this one was also ANS Conference, June,
2018, isn't it?
was it 2013,
13.
How is Bruce?
Coffs Harbour.
I haven't seen him, I've been in touch with him much at all. I know Mike Carter does, and
I've spoken to Bruce. He's not well because he's got prostate problems, and he's on medication and everything. So
I know Mike Carter's very good at convincing Bruce to come out of retirement to strike just a couple more medals.
Bruce will do it. Just a few more.
Well, I thought what would be nice would be typical of John Pern, but I came across this and it shows Bruce at work at one of the conferences. Colin Pitchfork's in there.
Is that when he was doing his ring do I think, or?
Coffs
He
Harbour.
was demonstrating 2010.
Numismatic Australian
Yeah,
Numismatic.
Coffs Harbour says that.
Coffs Harbour 2010. To Ross with esteem, John Pern.
Yeah, no, he's a lovely guy, John Pern. We're very lucky to have him too.
Yep. Well, he'll be giving a talk at the conference.
Good, good, good.
So,
Does it mention the Peatford in here? What we decided?
I think they were all that. I've got one as well. I think it's also that size. We'll see. 2012 was it?
It was later than that, wasn't it?
I thought it was 18, right?
2018.
Were the conferences always in even numbered years?
June 2012. So because they're the same,
Yeah,
the same.
we did
same
give out
obverse.
at one stage because of
I think they're both 2012s. But let's have a look.
Yeah, this is before like that, yeah. I don't think there was one in 2013, so it must have been 18. I think that was the one I missed. I think I did 2014. and then-
Grass.
I don't think I have one
Coffs
of those.
Harbour.
So that one's not mentioned, is it? It's got a different reverse.
Different reverse. See if it comes up later on. Can I take it out of its?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Can you take it out of its plastic?
Coffs Harbour. 2018.
2018. Okay, so it wouldn't show in the book because it only goes up to 2013. So Bruce has used it again.
Yeah.
Used the same reverse and just made a different reverse. Same obverse, different reverse. Right.
These ones with the key. Look at these.
Ah, the key. I shall be showing some keys as well.
I'm not sure what the relevance was with the key.
The relevance was Bruce wanted to have a go at trying to make a key. And so we attached it to.
21st birthday, so you wanted to
This
try
is
and-
this is a conference medal. And so he wanted to say,
The key,
this is the
attendees,
key
signs
there, the attendee. And on the other side, you had the little logo and you had the space to have your name engraved
Okay.
on that bit of key. But wait on, this is important. Now, you see this wonderful key? You'll be seeing some more of these keys in a minute. But that was the standard medal you could buy at the conference. We had a conference medal, but the key medal was a purchase one. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks, Ross.
now for my box of tricks. No, it's not that one. It's not that one. It's that one. We'll put these away first. I've got a few to share with you. And it's again involving Bruce. We have a lot of ANS medals and we have a lot of Bruce Canning medals. And Bruce was very good at design. I presented Bruce with a challenge in 2002. I didn't know Bruce before he started making medals for the ANS. The first Canning Mint medal I saw was at our conference in 1998, the first one that Queensland held at Coffs Harbour in Sanctuary Resort. And at that medal, Queensland had got Bruce to produce a conference medal, which was given to everyone. And since we alternate with the conferences, Queensland have one conference and then New South Wales does the next. So we're about 4 years apart, and I thought that was a great idea because, you know, you don't want to be running a conference every 2 years, especially those ones. So having Queensland do it, but it worked out even better because basically when the different branches doing it, they come up with a different idea, and it's sort of like gives us a challenge for the next conference. You know, you sort of take it and run with it. So at that conference, Bruce had made the medal. Bruce wasn't a member at that stage, he was just the medalist. And for the year 2000 conference, I got in touch with Bruce through John Cook, and asked if he could make a medal for our conference, which he did. We ended up making 40 medals for the year 2000 conference. And that was quite an interesting conference for me because I was the secretary at the time. Fred Dobbins his wife had got dementia, and so he really couldn't continue being secretary because he was at her bedside all the time. And we went to that conference, and in the interim, Tom Hanley had sort of contracted prostate and was sort of in hospital. I think Tom died shortly after that. So it was a conference that I went to, and I wasn't prepared, but I ran the conference. You know, it was a sort of, it's the Rod show on this conference. But, I mean, once you do all the preparation, the conference runs itself. You know, you have your speakers and what next, and it goes on. And it's sort of been like that ever since for us. But Bruce still wasn't there, but he'd made some of the medals, and I'd finally made contact with Bruce. Now, I'm a bimetallic collector. I collect bimetallic coins. And I made contact with Bruce, and I asked him if he could make bimetallic coins, if he could encase sixpences and threepences and what next. And he sort of thought about it and said, well, if we have the right tools and what next, there's no reason why you can't. It's a process to make the rings and all that sort of thing. But there, so he finally did. So come 2002, Queensland were running the next conference, which they did. But in 2002, the Euros came out, and they were bimetallic, and you know, it was the WBCC, the Bimetallic Collectors Club, was in sort of full swing with all these Euros, and I contacted Bruce to encase a lot of the Euros, so they become trimetallic, with the copper rings, etc. And so we finally set it up, and this is his setup. He got all the bits of copper, and he went through the stages of producing either the center or the ring. And if you look at the show at the back, he's got it as sort of 1, 2, 3. He would engrave where he wants to best utilize the metal on the big sheet of copper that he has. And then with the machine that we had made, he would stamp out the ring, and then he would go over where the one is and produce the full ring, a bigger piece. And so he had to work it out how to make as many rings or center bits as he could for the different sizes. And he has this piece of hard steel with different holes in it there that he bashes out. And we made it so that he could make it for the sixpence and the shilling. And the halfpenny and the shilling are almost the same size, so the hole for the shilling can be used for the halfpenny as well. We couldn't do one for the florin because it was just too big. The florin and pennies were just too large. So this is how Bruce does it. Now, as you can see, he then, you can take the ring out, you can take the center bit out. So he's sort of cut the center from there, and then he's cut the ring from there, so you have that. And you have different sizes. So you can see on this one, they are actually different size holes there. This is for bigger pieces, and that's for sort of smaller pieces. And with that, Bruce started producing bimetallic metals, mainly for the WBC to start with. Then he made the odd medals for us, and the first medal he made for the ANS was for the 90th anniversary, the 90th, not the 90th, yeah, it was the 90th anniversary medal that we were, 90th? No, it was the 1000th meeting, ANS Sydney's 1000th meeting that we had, which was about our 90th anniversary there. And so I got him to make some medals for us, and they were just normal medals. And with that, I think a few Queensland members were saying, you know, we couldn't attend. Is there any way we could get it? And we were saying, well, no, because basically it's given to the members who were at the meeting. But we made special ones for anybody else who wanted one, who wasn't there. We made an aluminium version, so it was a copper medal there. But because that 1000th meeting medal was so popular, and it was about the 90th anniversary, it was agreed that we should start on that centenary project, which we did. So we said, we're going to start on a centenary project that we will produce a medal every year up to our centenary in 2013. And give it to the members. And so we had different medals in mind. So I collected sixpences, shillings and halfpennies from 1913, from 1928 because, no, 1938 because that was the 25th anniversary, 1963, which was the 50th anniversary, and 1988, which was the 75th anniversary. By 88, of course, we didn't have any pre-decimals anymore. We had to use decimal currency. And the one that fit the best, believe it or not, was about the size of a sixpence, was the 2-cent coin. So we used the 1988 2 cents. So that's when we started the centenary project. And I was speaking with Bruce, and he had to make all different sized dies to fit the sixpences and the shillings. So you needed the sort of 4 different dies because you need an obverse and reverse die. And so we had that. So Bruce was producing all this stuff, and so that's when he started on the bimetallics. And the Canning Mint has been very good at producing encased coins and bimetallics there. So this is how it all started. Now, as Bruce went on, as he encased shillings and sixpences and what next, he has a lot of these centerpieces left over. And Bruce, being Bruce, he's very creative that way. He said, I've got all this material left over. What can I manage to make for it? And so it's like this piece that he made, that he gave away to everyone at 2004 in the conference. This conference was at Port Macquarie on the conference. So that's one of the Port Macquarie pieces. So it's a giveaway, but there's only about 25 of them or so, because he only took the number up for the people who were going to the conference. It's a very generous man that way. These are the sisal pieces he has left. So he has all these strips of copper. And so I said to him, well, you know, believe it or not, as collectors like this sort of stuff, you know, it's part of the material that's left. So it's sisal. At the Canning Mint 2002, so he must have made that one earlier on. But again, you can see it's from the copper bits, and it's just the sisal pieces. So he's made an aluminium ring and put the copper center in, and he's made this sort of T-shaped piece. But they're rare. I mean, how many of these are around? And he punched it on so that he could give it away at the 2002 conference. So that was very good. Here's another sisal piece with copper holes in it. Another giveaway in 2006. So again, it's the sisal pieces, and he's try and get the light. It's got 2006 at the bottom.
TCM.
And it's
Yeah, TCM, Far Canning Mint.
yeah. For Canning Mint. Also, then he's got all these copper centerpieces. They're saying, okay, what can I do with them? Oops, come back. Be back. So he's would get them, and okay. So he has the ANS logo on one side, and he has this Merry Christmas 2006 that he's produced, and he's given to initially members who attended the Christmas meeting in either the dinner or the Christmas meeting in Brisbane.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the December meeting in Brisbane.
Yeah. And he-
Give away those Christmas ones.
And he sent me down some as well to give to members down here. So we got that one. He did this one in 2008 there, and it's an aluminium centre bit that's left, and he says 2008, a new year, another chase. And this is similar, but it's got a blank reverse on it. So he forgot to go and, you know, crank his machine up to put the bit in the middle. Got another one of these somewhere.
I don't know if you realise about Bruce. His interest isn't in collecting medals. His interest is in the engineering, in making the die,
Yeah.
in solving the engineering problems that Rod's been talking about, in terms of how do I make this?
It's a good job of it.
So, when Bruce attends any of the Queensland meetings, he used to produce a little giveaway, and Queensland ANS Queensland branch meeting 926. I think it's no, it's 526. 528, yeah. And obviously the topic was monarchs.
Yeah.
So we had monarchs there, and he had by then had made this Queen Victoria portrait. Bruce is pretty good at doing designs, but something like this is far beyond him, and he had A.J. Parks produce that die for him, and he used it many times for the different Queensland medals and what next, but it's the Queen Victoria one.
Yeah.
Made
I
good
think
use.
he mainly did that for the 2009 Sesquicentenary Medal project.
But once he's got it,
Yeah,
he
used it for a
uses
lot
it
of
for
stuff.
everything. Yeah. Yeah. Here's the one he had produced for gold. So this is the meetings 538 up in Brisbane, and it's ANS Queensland branch meeting 538 gold. So that was obviously the topic, and Bruce already had a die that he made for gold mining at Sofala.
That was his first ever die design, I think.
Yeah.
The first things he ever made were down there, the northern New South Wales goldfields, the tin mining area.
Trying to find another one of these, but maybe I didn't bring it. For one of the Queensland dinners, Bruce produced a nice little medal like that he gave to everyone at the dinner. It's a brass one, and it's a sort of Queensland branch 1962. But he didn't have the silver centre. In the one that he gave at the dinner, it was all bronze, so it was a complete bronze medal. But then he decided, no, he'll make some with a little silver insert like that one. And I can't remember if he gave it away or we sold it or what, but it was very nice, and being a bimetallic collector, it was even better. Another Canning Mint giveaway. It's this little square piece. So he obviously had these sisal pieces there, and he didn't have anything in the reverse there, but I'm sure the normal one was going to be used there. So it's Canning Mint giveaway piece. This was one for the June conference 2010 at Coffs Harbour. So again, it's just a trial piece. At the conference, he was actually putting this conference plug onto 37 crowns, silver crowns, and it was the conference insert on the silver crowns. But Bruce had tried it out on had some trial pieces like this one, because it says trial at the top there, and this one as well. It doesn't have trial on the top, but obviously there was too much pressure and it's starting to buckle to pagoda. Other bits of gems.
Is this a preview to next month's auction? Are you putting those in all the
This is the cell collection, mate.
No.
This is why I've been bidding so much on. I've been outbidding Tony Dalton for these on our auctions, because I know how scarce they are. I think Tony Dalton does too. So, again, at one of our conferences, must have been 2013, we had all these 1913 shillings left over. We were encasing the 1913 shillings for our centenary. And when we started the centenary, we had a lot more members than we did by 2013. But at 2003, when we started, we had almost 200 members, and the membership was growing quite rapidly at that stage. And because we were going to give everyone an encased 2013 shilling, we had to make sure we had 1913 shillings, that we had, 219.13 shillings. And they were not that easy to find. I mean, I went to all the dealers and what next, and we were only wanted to buy, fine or VG sort of thing. We didn't want to spend the earth, and they were costing $10 or $15 a shilling just for the rubbish shillings. And it got to the stage where I was sort of thinking, oh, there. And some of these shillings were pretty worn, but as long as you could see the date, that was good enough. But most members want a better one, so that was when we said to the membership, look, we're going to give you, for the 2013 centenary, you're going to be given an encased 1913 shilling. That was the given. But if you want a nicer one, you give us your own shilling. You find the shilling you want, and we'll make sure that we encase that one, and that is the one you will get. Now, the idea was, one, if they've given it to us, we don't have to buy it. So, that's $15 saved anyway, because, we're paying Bruce to do all these. And by the time 2013 came, we didn't have 200 members. We were down to about 160 members or so. So I had all these spare shillings.
Low grade.
Yeah. So I was saying to Bruce at one of the conference, he was saying, okay, what are we going to make at this conference? And I said, you're going to make a countermark on a 1913 shilling. So as long as we see the 1913, it'll do. So all of these, you can just see sort of 1913 somewhere on them, probably around that side. Yeah, there's the 1913 underneath. And so these were the remainders. Probably 1913's on the other side of that one. Yeah, there it is, 1913. So Bruce countermarked them all, and we got to use up about 30-odd of the leftover 1913 shillings. And we always had a few spare, so I get them to put an S countermark on it, and we shove it in the auction and sell it and make some money on it. So that was good. Okay. Now, I showed you one of the gold ones earlier on. This is another gold piece that Bruce produced. He only produced 4 of this with a little brass piece in the middle, vintage 4 brass centre. So it's for that giveaway that he gave at the Queensland Gold meeting. But it's got a little bit of brass with a crown on it, which signifies gold. Vintage was only 4. It's pretty low. Show you some of the others. These are just early trial strikes he had, so he produced them. So it's ANS metal, so it's made the rings and things. So we have 4, this is for the membership medals. So early membership medals, we had one of the rings on that. And there, and so he sent them up as trial strikes to say, okay, you know, are these okay? And I said, yeah, you know, I mean, all we need is where it says trial strike is to put the member's number in the middle, and we've got the membership medal. So that's how that one started. John Cook's book, which is down here, which is a really nice piece. When John produced the book, he produced a medal that members could buy when they bought the book at $10. So it was there. So it's the copper medal. But he also Bruce also produced some silver ones. 2015 medal. So you really don't see the silver ones. In Cookie's book, he mentions that there's silver ones, but mintage not known. I think Bruce made them, you know, as he felt like it. Bruce, when he makes anything, he produces it, but he also makes one out of silver for himself, and he also makes one, a copper one, and has it gold-plated for himself, for his collection. So he's really got 3 collections, see, the normal one, the silver one, and the gold-plated one. This tiny little piece is for the ANS conference in 2013. That was the Et Ultra, means the future. And I think from what Bruce was saying, that was part of the logo of the school he went to. So the bit of Latin he knew, sort of. And a tiny little ANS logo on it. He had fun making these little ANS logos. Basically, if we have a die with an ANS logo on, Bruce could copy it. If we could have the die, he could copy it and make it a die copy of it. It's not 100% perfect, but it's pretty close. And on a lot of our medals, we have little versions of the ANS logos and what next. So Bruce got me to mail him up the die, and he would copy the little ANS logo from that and sort of send it back. So we have all these little logos. Other ones that the Canning Mint has made. ANS Queensland branch meeting 757 cut and struck. So Bruce obviously produced this. And
I think he did the Vincent Reid address that time, and he basically talked through the process of how he cut
Right.
the dies and had to
That-
reshape the dies and that sort of thing.
right,
When,
So-
when he gave away that method.
if you see that one, then you see when the square one comes up. So that was the die, Queensland branch, 50 years, 2012. So you've got the medal that he made, and you've got the sample that he struck on a round aluminium piece. These are all in Cookie's book, by the way, so if you look through, they're all there. What else can I show you? Ross showed us a key a minute ago for the conference, the 2010 conference. So we had the conference at Coffs Harbour in 2010. And we had the keys. Bruce was saying at the conference when he made it that as he was striking the keys, the dies were cracking. So at the conference, I managed to buy a normal one and one with three die cracks. You can see the three die cracks there. At the last conference, the last auction we had this one with the two die cracks, the die crack down there and the big die crack coming up there. So you can see the progression. Now all I have to find is the key with just the one die crack on it, and so I can have the set. But it's, I don't know how easy that's going to be. But
Do they exist? Do you know?
oh yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so-
and it might have had two cracks form at the same time. I don't
yeah.
know.
So yeah, but he only produced like 25 keys or so, and he was saying as he made them, that die kept cracking, and said you just had to keep on doing it and show the die crack. And when I bought it at the conference, I said I would like one with nothing and one with the maximum number of die cracks. Other people were buying the other ones, so
Okay.
Bruce always had one or two left over, so I got those first two, and then it's a matter of trying to find the other ones. Well,
You'll have them
I had
checked.
a fight for the key.
Yeah, I've got some keys at home.
Some more of these?
I'll look, yeah.
So see if you have one with just the one die crack on,
Okay.
and you can sell it to me to make up my
I'll
set.
put it in the auction.
Oh, you can put it in the auction. You probably get more money that way. It'll be between me and Tony Dalton then. Yeah, so that's with the die crack. Oh, this is where the other one came from. Earlier on,
Sounds like the ones without the die track.
I showed you the medal that Bruce made a giveaway for the dinner, the Queensland branch dinner, and 4th of November 2006, and guest speaker was John Pern. And so that was given to everyone at the dinner, and then he produced this one with the aluminium plug later on. Some other little items. Very early on, Bruce was planning for the 2013 conference, and he wanted to make this medal, which we ended up using. There. So this was the medal that was done for the conference. Those are the two different sides, obverse, reverse. The difference was there were two thicknesses, because he didn't have enough copper in the sheet of one thickness, so he produced some of 3mm and some of 5mm thickness copper. But prior to that, he'd been experimenting, and this was how it was initially going to set up. He wanted to have the holy dollar and the dump shown on one side, and then he had another design with it like that. So those were the other ideas, but it was very fiddly and very hard to make, and in the end he said bugger it. and we just went with the copper piece that was struck. Okay, now 500th meeting. Queensland has produced quite a few medals. They did one for the 500th meeting in 2004. And because the Queensland branch started in 1962, on the engraved ones, they always used a 1962 penny. But, as always, hubris comes along, and you have to look, because this one was done on a 1959 penny. So I said, thank you very much, it'll go in the cell collection. When you see it, put it aside. Recently, Queensland's had the 700th meeting. And it was 700th meeting was on the 19th of January 2021. And my friends in Queensland sent me this and said, thank you very much for all your help with everything you do, with the auctions, with running the society and everything. And we would like you to have this piece. So it's commemorating that. And the difference is that the engraving on this side was rotated 180 degrees from what was normal. So I've got one that's upside down. So that's nice. There's a few other pieces here, but I think I've spoken enough, so I think we should leave it at that. Just the one more. What did I do with it? Bear with me, I will find it. It is here somewhere. Maybe I won't find it. Oh, here it is. In 2013, we had a conference up in Coffs Harbour. And 2013 being the centenary of the ANS, it was decided that why don't we encase some 2013 $2 coins? So we did. I sent them up to Bruce, nice $2 coins. And then this purple $2 came out for the 60th anniversary of the Queen's reign. Now, prior to coming out, the Royal Australian Mint had said on their website that they were going to have a pop-up shop in the Roma Street station in Brisbane, where these coins were going to be available to anyone. And I sent an email to everyone saying, okay, Queensland members, you know, the pop-up shop is here. Go down and get them. You know, it's $2 for $2, so it's not costing you anything except your time and effort. And at the conference, Col Thomas had a bag of them. And I said also that don't forget your friends, you know. And Col had all these. And I'd been getting a few in change, which I put aside, but they're 2013. And, you know, said, hang on, this is 2013. You know, our society is 100 years old, 2013, and what next? Let's encase these. So we did. And I think Collins, from memory, Collins sold me 10 that he had, and I'd sent them up to Bruce. So we ended up with encasing 26 of them. So there's 26 of these encased 2013 $2 coins. Now, that $2 coin in uncirculated condition now is selling for $150. You know,
That's
this
one of
isn't
the rare ones.
uncirculated, but even then, it's nice, and it's the scarce, as one of the scarce ones. It's like the 2012 one with the red poppy, and they're really pricey. So that is nice to know that there's 26 ANS medals with that $2 in it. So, thank you very much. I think I've taken more than my time. But I think I've made my point that, hey, collect ANS medals, especially the Canning Mint giveaways, because they are rare.
Ross, what do you got to say?
I'm still having fun with my postal notes. That's with the latest journal, but I won't keep you long. They turned up this Ecuador one, and what I've hit people with was that question: name a country whose currency is named after its leader. And sure enough, Jose Sucre had his currency. It was much later that they named the currency after him. So that was an interesting exercise, and I don't own any of these, but turned them up from collectors overseas and started putting them together. And they're printed by Perkins Bacon, so that made it more interesting. But Spanish isn't one of my fortes, so I managed to get my sister-in-law to do the translations. But it sort of slowed me up in production. And then the other one I tackled was Israel. And quickly grab my glasses. I'm not any good with Hebrew either. But Tony James. I'll just have to do it wrong. Wing it. I'll wing it. Anyway, with Hebrew, would you believe it's read from right to left? Yep. And then the other thing I struck, and this really jiggers things up. Can I read it? Try reading a date. The Hebrew calendar indicates the time counting from the creation of the world, according to the Bible. For dates, you read Hebrew from right to left, hence the year 2016 in Hebrew is 5,776, which translates, and I've got the translation of the hieroglyphics type of thing that they used. So that was an interesting exercise. And then we had members that went to Hunflex over in Hungary, and the big one was London 2020. Where they get incredible numbers to these philatelic exhibitions. One of our members is the Bernard Beston. Heard of him at all? No? He's a Queenslander. He's the FIP president. They were present over there, and there was awards. A number of members put displays on, and there's a medal that they receive for the. I don't know whether you want to record it, but they're serious collectors. They really are, because I'm just trying to find the eyes. It costs them thousands of dollars anyway to actually send their entries over. They send them. They end up being displayed in these type of frames, and there might be 5 or 7 frames in one guy's display. But as I say, the postage of them, and then were made from Sarasota in Florida. He was the commissioner for the USA. When he came back, they paid his trip over and stuff, but the amount of work that was involved in getting the displays from people in the United States and then shipping them to London, when they came back he had 300 pounds in weight of items to redistribute. And so he wonders whether it was really worth his while. But as I say, extraordinary numbers of people in attendance. And they certainly have it in large halls. So that's, and I got the translations from the Spanish, which made it a little interesting.
Very good.
That basically all unique. Each of those ones from Ecuador.
Thanks, Ross.
Thanks, Ross.
David, you've got something to show?
Yes, that's right. I was told the
Can't leave you now.
topic was club and society medals, so I brought along a few. I figured there'd be plenty of A&S medals here tonight, so I thought I'd bring along some from some of the other clubs that I had in my collection.
Is it numbered on the edge?
Fair enough.
I'm going to work the camera for him.
Sorry.
Stephen's got the job.
Okay. Right, so Sydney Coin Club. This is the cadmium plated medal from 1966 for decimal currency. Obviously issued right at the peak of interest in coin collecting here in Australia at the changeover time. I'm not exactly sure what the story of the Sydney Coin Club was. It was only around a couple of years. I think it might have been one of the dealers or something like that sort of started it and made these medals or something like that. I'm not quite sure.
It was quite popular for a while, yeah.
But yeah, this is, it says down the bottom there, series number 2. This is the second medal they made. And you got the Carlisle number up there, of course. But yeah, cadmium plated, very interesting. Cadmium's a nice shiny metal. So this is in my elements collection for my periodic table. The only piece of cadmium I have. Yeah, it's nice and shiny. It's kind of toxic, so don't touch it.
It's in a 2x2, so you're okay.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. This is one of the Queensland Sesquicentenary medals. Bruce Canning, you'll recognise the style, of course. Mm-hmm. And all of the coin clubs that were active in Queensland in 2009, Bruce contacted them and got each of the clubs to make their own medals for it. So this is the Redcliffe Coin and Phone Card Club, now known as the Redcliffe Numismatic Society. They decided phone card wasn't an anachronism that had been in their name for long enough.
Well, it's not popular anymore, is it?
The only person in the club still interested in phone cards is the secretary, who lives way over in Wynnum. So this was the Redcliffe medal for that.
They used the same this side for all three clubs, wasn't it?
For all four clubs, yes.
All four, yeah.
So the ANS Queensland, QNS, Redcliffe and Rockhampton were the four clubs that were talked into making. They were the only four clubs active in Queensland in 2009.
Do you want to leave them here? So that
Oh yeah, sorry, that's fine.
Grant can take a photograph of the lot?
Yep. Sorry. Slide that in there. Okay. Next up, of course, the QNS. Again, another Bruce Canning piece. And this one's the one the QNS gives out for their literary award, the Graham Stevens Literary Award. Veterans here will remember Graham Stevens very well, of course.
Yes.
And after he passed away, he was big in the QNS as well, so they decided to rename the Literary Award after him. Okay, so that's my one from 2019 or whatever it was. And of course, the coin clubs have a joint display stand at the Ander Show in Brisbane. So they make a medal for that. This is one of the ones that Bruce designed the Queen Victoria die for. So it's Numismatic Societies of Queensland. On the side. Again, this is the participant medal for me for the Ander Show in 2013. There is one other coin club that wasn't around in 2009 when those ones were made, and this is the first medal that they've made, the Redland Bay Coin and Stamp Club. Just a little cheap Chinese-made thing, but it's the first medal they made, and that was for their 10th anniversary, I think. They just made that just before COVID came down. The Redland Bay is Cleveland, if you know the Brisbane area, down in the Bayside area. That's where they have their meetings. And moving overseas, whoops, gonna have to get a new case for that. Just snapped on me. Okay, whoop, that's upside down. There we are. This is from the Virginia Numismatic Association. The secretary of it, I think, came to it was either an ANS or QNS meeting, I don't know. He gave these away to everybody.
It was at the conference, actually.
The conference, that's right. I couldn't remember where it was. I didn't write it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came to Sydney. This is Jack.
Yeah.
Jack Hepler,
Went to the conference with us.
and then went up to Brisbane afterwards.
And stayed with you guys for a while.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly when these were given
He
away.
stayed
but
with
yeah.
Fred Scarf and Bruce Scott,
Yeah.
Barry Scott. Yeah.
We brought all those over.
He has since passed away as well.
Yeah. That's from the, just popped up back on the other side. So this is from the Virginia Numismatic Association. If you know your coin club, generally numismatics is far more popular and common over in America than it is here. I did some looking up on this because Virginia as a state has about the same population as New South Wales, even though it's much smaller, it's much more densely populated. How many coin clubs are in New South Wales? Any idea?
No, half a dozen?
Three.
No, the whole state.
Whole state? I mean, there's sort of stamp and coin clubs. You know, you have Orange and there. Yeah.
Easily half a dozen.
4 or 5.
Yeah, there's 19 coin clubs in Virginia, and 16 of those clubs are members of the Numismatic Association. So the structure there is that you got your local coin club where you actually do what we're doing here and sit around and talk about coins. Then you have the associations, which all the local clubs are members of, and it's the association that does the publishing of the journal and the organising of coin shows and all the stuff that's too big for one little coin club to do. And then those associations are all members of the American Numismatic Association. So it's a real ordered structure thing. And you got the whole thing about the difference between coin clubs and numismatic societies. And the coin clubs, they sit around and talk about coins and that sort of thing. And numismatic societies are much more cerebral and academic. So you know, they're the ones that, you know, they try to publish their own journals and that sort of thing. But it's all very rigidly hierarchical. You can't call yourself a numismatic society if you're not going to do the journal publishing.
We were supposed to be exchanging with them, and we never got anything from them.
And on the back of that Virginia medal, if you want to just pop it back up, there's all the list of all the societies that are members of the Virginia Numismatic Association at the time.
Shenandoah Valley.
Yeah, I looked it up on the internet before I came here. As I said, 19 societies in Virginia, 16 of them are members of the Virginia Numismatic Association. Okay, this next one here. Cincinnati Numismatic Society, Cincinnati Numismatic Association for the 75th anniversary. The Americans call these so-called dollars. They're medals that kind of look like coins. They've got a denomination on them. They're very big, popular collector's items. You see this one's one Itaniknik. If you're wondering what an Itaniknik is, it's the name Cincinnati spelled backwards. And the story behind me getting this one, I published I got a whole bunch of articles that I'd published in the Q&S magazine, and I shoved them on the Q&S website just for some attraction. Try to get some hits on the website. A few months later, this came in the mail, along with a copy of the Cincinnati Numismatic Association Journal. What they'd done, they'd basically plagiarized one of my articles, shoved it in their magazine, and said, "Thanks for letting us use your article. Here's a little medal to pay for it." Yeah, that's great, guys. I would have appreciated it asked first, but that's okay.
I've got the medal, so I'm happy.
So yeah, that came to the Q&S mailbox, and the Q&S guy said, "You know, what do we do with this?" I said, "Oh, it's you wrote the article. You can keep it." So okay. And one other on the topic. Now this is from an internet coin club. I don't know how else it'll turn up. The Knights of the Coin Table, which is a internet coin club. It's based in America. A lot of the guys there collect Australian stuff. Was sort of how it started. They've got their own coin forum and that sort of thing. It's a bit inactive lately. Just about the only thing they do on the forum is organise making these medals. But they make a medal every year. And
It's got number 21 on, so it's medal
that's
21, is it?
Apparently my membership number. I thought it was club and society medals, so that I don't have many medals from non-numismatic societies. This is the only one I've got. The Christian Endeavour Jubilee 1938. Just your little fairly standard one if you're into the Carlisle medal or religious medals. Now, you don't get too many sort of Protestant religious medals. That's historically more a Catholic thing, but that's one organisation that did make a medal for the Jubilee back then. I brought some recent acquisitions if you want me to talk about them, or
Sure.
if you all want to go. I got these from the Ander Show up in Brisbane just a few weeks ago. Okay, here we have it was sold to me as Rome and Arabia, silver tridrachm of Emperor Hadrian, 111 AD. You can tell it's from Arabia because it's got a camel on it. There you go. I know it looks like an emu, but it's a camel.
Two-legged camel.
And I go to categorise and classify this in my coin database. Okay, what is it? It's Roman provincial or that sort of thing. Is it? I come across this big argument in academic circles. Were these things struck in Roman Arabia? Were they struck up in Cappadocia in Turkey, and that sort of thing?
Does it matter?
Yeah. One of the arguments that it wasn't struck anywhere near Arabia was that there are some varieties of this coin with the Bactrian two-humped camel in the background instead, which don't exist in Arabia, but there's plenty of those up in Cappadocia. But yeah, I followed it under Arabia anyway, because these coins were minted just after Arabia, the area around Petra was assimilated into the Roman Empire. The kingdom there died without heir or something like that. As you might tell from these things, ancients are an interest of mine. Little tiny one. Whoops, it's facing the wrong way. There you go. This is a silver drachm of Mausolus of Caria, the guy who eventually was interred in the mausoleum from which all our other mausoleums was named after. The mausoleum of Halicarnassus, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world. And on the other side, you can just make it out if you get the angle just right and the zoom just right. That's his name there, Morsalon in Greek.
And he's sitting down on his throne.
I think it's actually Zeus. Zeus sort of standing
Zeus,
there.
yeah.
But the name there in Greek, over on the right, or across the top there on that angle is Morsalon.
What year was that? This one?
That would be he ruled 377 to 353 BC.
Right.
Taking these away, you should be putting those over there. Okay. I found this coin very interesting. It just appealed to me. This is they call it a silver unit. I'm calling it a drachm because it's exactly the same size and shape and weight as a Sasanian drachm. It's from the kingdom of Harakila. Well, you might be wondering where Harakila is, so is everybody else. We know it existed because they made these coins. We know it was a fairly wealthy and powerful kingdom because this is a nice coin, nice, solid,
Good
fine silver.
Yeah.
But we know it existed because the Arab chroniclers mentioned it, the Chinese chroniclers mentioned it, other Indian kingdoms mentioned it. It was over at the far eastern end of India, everybody said, which is what we today call Bangladesh. So it was somewhere over there, but nobody knows exactly where. It's just gone. Because Bangladesh, you're talking about the Ganges Delta, you've got the river mud, so whatever archaeology might be there, it's under 10 metres of mud, and there's still people living on top of it. So
It has a sort of Nepalese-Tibetan sort of...
that's one of the medieval scripts. They date from somewhere around 800 to 1000 AD. There's various varieties. They've translated that script there to Harakila, just the name of the kingdom. And that's the, on the other side, just the Hindu, or it might be the Buddhist sacred symbol. Upside down, the little trident, Shrivasta, I think it's called. It has some design similarities to the coins of Arakan, which is the sort of semi-barbarian kingdom to the west of India, what we now call Burma. But yeah, it's obviously a transition. And that just appealed to me. I like buying coins from countries I've never heard of, going home and researching it. Didn't really work in that case because nobody knows the answer. Next up, just to prove I'm not just an ancients freak. Which way's up? That way's up. There we are.
Pardon me.
Okay. Zoom here just a little.
Zoom out of it.
This is a silver peso from Mexico, the Empire of Maximilian, 1867. Maximilian was an Austrian prince. The French decided we'd much rather have a pro-French government in Mexico than whoever was there before. So they installed this guy as emperor, came in with troops. The Americans said, no, we've got this Monroe Doctrine, we don't want Europeans interfering in North American affairs. We'd really rather you go home. And the French said, oh, okay, we don't want to upset the Americans. So the French all packed up and left. They left poor Maximilian behind. The Mexicans shot him. He never really controlled all of Mexico. There were still elements controlled by Republican forces around. Okay, whoops, over here, just another little ancient Roman Republic. This is a denarius of Mania Lollius Pelicanus. And on the reverse we have the rostra. after which the speaker's podium rostrum is named. A rostra is actually a beak or a prow, and it is called the rostrum because, or the rostra plural, because the original speaker's podium in the Roman Forum was decorated with the prows of captured enemy ships. You can see 3 of them down there, decorating the lower base of the podium. And that's sort of the chair behind which the person speaking would speak.
What year is that, roughly?
That would be, let me see, I think didn't write it down. Here we are, 45 BC. That particular guy was the money.
You had a fun time at the in the show.
Oh yes.
The Caesar period.
And you're really going to have to, nobody sneeze, okay? Nobody sneeze. You're really going to have to zoom in on this little guy. There he is. Whoops, that's not the right way up. Hang on, I'll see if I can turn it around. Okay. This will test your zooming techniques. Okay, what we have here is a silver tetatamorion, 1/4 obol, or 1/48 of a drachm, from the Greek city-state of Teos. And what you're looking at there, if we can rotate it 90 degrees, that would be cool.
Which
This way. That way would be nice. I think, yeah, that's what that way is up. Okay, what you're looking at here is the head of a griffin. You can see its ear over there on the right pointing up, and his eye. He's got an open mouth and his tongue sort of sticking out. Yeah, this is a tetatamorion. Believe it or not, the Greeks actually made hemi-tetatamorions, half this size. This coin is 0.20 grams and 5 millimetres across. It is my new smallest coin.
I have a lot of coins from Ephesus of the same size.
Yes. Of course, they made them so small because this predates the invention of bronze coinage.
What's on the other side? Just
It's just a square
incuse.
incuse thing. Whoop. Yeah, just your usual quadripartite square.
Right.
Right, that's all I have. Thank you. I have a typed out list. Does anyone do a typed out list or anything? If you need it, you can take it. Just in case you want to get the spelling right.
Yeah. When we show the photos, we'll use it.
Well, I think that's about it. Grant, you haven't got anything?
No, I've got a couple there, I don't know anything about them, or not before.
Okay, good.
Kettles are boiled. Be careful with the black lid one because the lid doesn't stop down, so make sure you don't pour hot water on yourself.
Those are just purely an example of a metal that's, if I can get anything open.
Okay, we'll move your coins over to there. We'll mix your Japanese. Oh,
Story with these are that they were found amongst the possessions of one of our members who have passed away. Well, first of all, I'm a member of the Eastwood Orchid Society, or Eastwood and District Orchid Society, or Circle as we are, for some strange reason, but otherwise they're societies. It's just a little silver medal for the inscription
New
on the other
South
side.
Wales. The Orchid Society of New South Wales.
Yeah. What happened? We salvaged these, I suppose you might say, from his effects and what have you, and I just put them aside and completely forgot about them until last minute today. So I haven't sort of gone into them. But this guy,
H.G. Burley.
H.G. Burley, he must have been a really fantastic grower or something, because he got all of these medals for
67?
Yeah.
Wow.
63 for meritorious display. I think it's silver, so they've begun by the look and the weight of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in those days when they were a bit more generous.
Well, 63 is then, and 67 becomes this one.
Yeah. The same again in 66. You get the same thing again in 66.
Is that bronze?
I think that's bronze.
So it didn't do quite as well.
No.
Only got the bronze.
All the clubs just running out of money.
Now, I looked up the Orchid Society of New South Wales site and awards and what have you, but they don't. Well, I couldn't see anything on these at all. Now, this one I'm not quite sure whether it sort of fits into it. It's more of a plaque or a trophy, but it's awarded to the same guy from the American Orchid Society in 1961. So I don't know what the metal is. It's it looked brass, but whether they'd
Looked like a brass piece, didn't it?
Olympic bronze, they call it.
But so this is actually Burley. He must have been some real grower. And as I looked up the American Orchid Society's trophies and whatever, but I couldn't find anything along the line of it as to how they'd be presenting to somebody in our little society. I'd say probably back in those days they were much bigger than we are at the moment.
I wonder where E and DOC is.
That's Eastwood and District Orchid Circle. As I say, for some strange reason, we're a circle.
That's the American. So the American people
Sponsored an awards.
Sponsored an award, yeah, here in Sydney. But I'm saying for some strange reason we're a circle, whereas everyone else is a society. But nobody can explain why we're called a circle and everyone else is a society.
Yeah, because you sit around.
Thanks, Rod. But yeah, so I just thought they'd something a little bit different.
Thanks, Frank. All right, well, I think that's about the end of it. And I really think that was it's strange how all of a sudden we pick on a topic that everybody sort of has got something to sort of talk about.
Did you bring anything?
No.
What was going to be a very short night has turned out.
Right. This may be a quick meeting. And I thought that's good because I can get back to work. And now it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to be late.
Oh, well. You don't finish till 4 in the morning, so you're all right, aren't you?
Yeah, I know, but I've got to get back there and finish off what I was supposed to be doing. So,
well, you're on overtime.
that'd be nice. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm going to get back into doing the work. All right, well, look, thank you all for coming. We got our usual refreshments over there.